your way to your mats. Tilt that down so you can see my feet. So we're going to come into a little exercise that I mentioned with your feet on the ground. So as you come into this semi-squat with the feet, you can kind of peel out the toes. There's a little space between each toe. And then lower your knees down. Feel free to fold up the corner of the mat if the knees are feeling a little sore, because I do like to protect the knees, even though we're diving into sensation. Knees need a little bit of support sometimes. So you can lift up each toe so there's a nice bit of space in between each toe. And we're going to practice that Ujjayi breath, but exploring this new sensation in the feet, which may feel uncomfortable, diving into that sensation. I'll just do side view. You can also do this with holding ice cubes. When I was pregnant, I did hypnobirthing, holding ice cubes, and you can do the same exercise, diving into that sensation. Doesn't feel like labour, but it's definitely uncomfortable. So I'll bring the hands to the thighs, closing the eyes. And before you dive all of your awareness into your feet, come back to that thread of the Ujjayi breath. So steady breath in through the nose. And steady breath out through the nose or the mouth. A little constriction at the back of the throat. Breathing into 4. And out to 4. And then keeping the thread of the breath, dive your awareness down into your feet, where you may be starting to feel a stronger sensation. And rather than resisting the sensation that's arising in your feet, knowing that it's not going to cause you any harm, it's a discomfort, maybe a strong sensation. Can you run with that sensation and even begin to relax the body into running with it? Allowing your thread of breath to be your guide as you listen into the breath. Follow the sound, the temperature, the texture. Now adding in your affirmation, staying with whatever sensations are arising, with your curiosity, running with it. My body is strong, my mind is calm. My body is strong, my mind is calm. And recognize your own resources of resilience, patience, and courage. Ability to surrender to what is. Just a few moments longer. Following the breath. My body is strong. My mind is calm. My body is strong. My mind is calm. Really good. And then release your hands. And we'll ease your way up to standing. You might be really grateful that we're moving out of that one. And coming up to a standing position with the feet about hip distance apart. We'll free up the feet a little so you can circle out through the ankle, taking 3 rotations in one direction and 3 in the other. And before you plant this foot down, really spread out for the toes and then plant the foot down as if you're pressing into sand and lifting up through the other foot. 3 rotations in one direction and 3 in the other. Spreading the toes and plant the foot down as if you were pressing it into sand. And now reaching down through the left hand, we're going to stay with that Ujjayi breath, so stay with the sound and thread to your inner world. Breathe in, sweep the right arm up. As you breathe out, gaze down towards the left hand. Breathing in, sweeping the left hand up as the right hand lowers. Breathing out, turn your gaze to your right hand. Following your breath, breathe in back to center. Can you breathe to a count of 4? And breathing out to the count of 4 as you gaze down. Listen to the sound of your breath as you move. You might like to close your eyes. As you move with your breath. And one more on each side. And then coming back to center, bringing the arms wide, find a little bend into the knees so you feel a strength start to build in the lower body. So rather than locking the joints, as kind of active strength of the muscles hugging in towards your bones. And bringing the arms out to the side, take a slow breath in through the nose. Visualize the lungs expanding as you breathe in. And a slow breath out through the nose or the mouth, staying with the Ujjayi breath. Breathing into the count of 4 as you expand and open. And breathing out to the count of 4. And maybe cultivating your affirmations. My body is strong. My mind is calm. And that you can use this affirmation as a tool to bring you back to the present moment. Bring you back to your body's intelligence, the element of trust, courage, and surrender. Now really listening to the sound of the breath and the quality of your breath as you open your arms once more. And closing the palms in towards the lungs. This time open your palms and turn the hands to face up. As you breathe in, spiral the little fingers in towards the heart. And as you breathe out, push the palms forwards and take a slightly deeper squat. Floating the hands to the side. Turn the palms back to face up. Breathe in, spiral the little fingers in. Breathe out, push forwards as you squat. And you draw the hands to the side, rise back up. Palms turn up. Breathe in, spiral the little fingers in. Steady breath out, push forwards, bending the knees deeper. Press through your feet as you rise through the head, hands come to the side. And then palms face up, breathe in, spiral the fingers in. Breathe out, push forwards, mini squat. And then taking 3 more like this, move to the sound of your breath, stay with the thread of your breath. Maybe adding in your affirmation if that resonates with you. Maybe closing your eyes, bringing your awareness to your inner world. After your final one, allowing the arms to rest by your side. We'll take one more round so the arms may be feeling a little more alive now. For this one, we're going to cross the arms without touching the forearms. So you cross out through the arms, breathe in as you draw a large circle, straightening the legs slightly. And then breathe out as you bend the knees a little deeper and cross the arms the opposite direction. Breathing in, drawing the circle wide, following the expansion of the breath in. Breathing out to lower and release the breath. Follow the rhythm of your breath with your movement. And then that harmonious synchronicity of breath and movement. Coming back to the rhythm of 4 counts as you breathe in. And 4 as you breathe out. Final one, crossing the arms the opposite direction. And straighten the legs a little, give the legs a little break, and start to rotate out through the shoulders, rolling your shoulders 3 rounds back and 3 rounds forwards. Bring your hands to your hips, start to draw circles throughout your hips. And that free flow of movement, increasing your hip mobility. And switching direction whenever it feels just right to do so. And maybe having a little go at drawing a figure of 8 movement with the hips. And visualize your baby having a little dance around the womb. Enjoying your baby being quiet. And imagining that sense of spaciousness behind the womb as you make these movements. And switching direction. And coming back to center. Starting to ground through the left foot. Lift up through your right. You can steady your balance by gazing at one spot on the ground. And then draw 3 rotations from the right hip. In one direction. And then 3 in the other direction. This is really good to strengthen out through the buttocks and the glutes. Really great for hip mobility. The balance of stability and mobility. So let that foot come down as if you're planting down through sand again. And lift up through the left side. 3 rotations in one direction. And 3 in the other direction. And all the way back down. And easing your way down to all fours. As you come down to all fours, we're going to shake out through the wrist like we have been doing, really waking up through the wrist and the hands so you've got a nice firm grounding throughout the palm. So lifting up through the right hand and having a little shake out. You're livening out through the hand and the wrist, waking it all up. Now bring the hand to a hover just above the mat as you spread out through your fingers, feel that aliveness of the hand. And distribute the weight evenly throughout the hand. So you grip on through the finger pads, firm grounding through the palm. And same on the other side. Shake, shake, shake. Bring the hand to a hover. Spreading out through the fingers and ground down. Maybe taking the knees a little wider today if your bump's got a little bigger. Accommodate the size of your bump. Now take a slow breath in through the nose, staying in a static position. And a long, slow sigh release through the mouth. And at any point in your pregnancy or your labour, if your breath feels stagnated, you can sigh it out as a little reset for your breath. Do one more like that. Long, slow sigh. Now moving through cat-cow, take a breath in as you open the heart and chest forwards. Slow breath in through the nose. Slow breath out through your nose as you dome into the upper back. Allow the head to be heavy. Follow the rhythm of the breath. Really listening to the sound of your breath, a powerful tool. And taking 3 more like this. Close your eyes and can you really be present with whatever sensations are currently running through the body. Be present to the feeling of the breath within the body and out of the body. Recognize your own ability to calm the body and the mind with the power of your breath. And as you come back to center, start to draw circles out through the head. And simultaneously draw them out through the hips. So you might find that as you draw circles out through the head, there's a knock-on effect through the spine for this sense of fluidity and seaweedy movement throughout the spine. If you can move without knowing that no one's watching, and then closing the eyes and tap into that sense of intuitive movement. Circling through the head, through the hips. And staying with the sensations of the body, finding a place that feels really good and nourishing for your pregnant body this evening. And switching direction throughout your circles. And as you stay with the breath, have a little explore, breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. And then in through your nose and out through your mouth. And knowing there's no right or wrong, choose the one that feels the most intuitive and the most welcome and calming for your body. So you're choosing that breath that's going to give you the optimum sense of presence and calm, whether that's breathing out through the nose or out through the mouth. And slowly coming back to center. If the wrist is starting to get a little sore, you come onto your fingertips, really ground through the fingertips to strengthen out through the roof of the wrist and give it a little break from resting down. And now start to draw circles out through the hips, but moving larger throughout the circles. And your head might kind of stay static this time. Really focus on moving out through the lower body. Making the circles a little larger and then gradually spiraling in towards the center circle. Spiraling from large to small. As if you're spiraling your awareness all the way up towards the pelvic floor muscles, gradually moving the awareness in and up. And then show at the smallest part of your circle, heightened sense of awareness around the pelvic floor. Switch direction and spiral from the inner part of your spiral all the way out to your larger circles. If you can maintain that awareness around the pelvic floor area. And once you get to the largest part of the circle, spiral the opposite direction all the way back in. And from that smallest point, press down through the hands. And keep your awareness on the pelvis. And we're going to stabilize out through the upper body. So really rooting down through the hands, feel that strength out through the arms and upper body. Keeping the thoracic spine, the ribcage fairly steady. And now bring all of your awareness to your pelvis, as if there are two magnets on either side. And draw in and up through the pelvic floor. As you draw in and up through the pelvic floor, very slowly tilt the tailbone down. And staying here with the tailbone tilted down, find a slow breath in through the nose, that Ujjayi breath in, as you draw in and up through the pelvic floor muscles. And slow breath out through the nose as you tilt your tailbone up and release the pelvic floor muscles. We're trying to fine tune and isolate the movement around the pelvis. The tailbone tilts down, breathing in through the nose. Pelvic floor draws in and up. And tailbone tilts up, breathing out through the nose. Releasing the pelvic floor. Draw in and up through the pelvic floor muscles as you tilt the tailbone down. Front, middle and back passage, lift up. And then softly releasing the pelvic floor as you tilt the tailbone up. And then close your eyes, really grounding your awareness around the pelvis. And seeing if you can come back to the thread of the breath. And you stay with the sound of your breath as you contract and release the pelvic floor muscles. Now the contraction of the pelvic floor to be on the in-breath. And the release to be on your out-breath. And slowly walking the hands in towards you. We're going to come up onto the feet again, but this time lift the knees up and allow the heels to come slightly in towards one another. So we're in a low goddess squat. You can either keep your fingertips down on the ground to help your balance, or bring them into a mudra if you'd like to challenge your balance. This is a really nice spacious pose for bump. You might even like to hold on to your bump with that new sense of space around the hips. And we're going to transition from this pose into downward facing dog. So you can set the hands forwards and then walk yourself all the way into down dog as you bring the hands forwards and the feet back. Stepping your feet as wide as they need to be to accommodate your bump. And then come back to the Ujjayi breath. We'll stay here for a few rounds of breath. And you find an even balance of weight throughout the hands and the feet. And that steady breath in through the nose. Steady breath out through the nose or mouth. Option to add in your affirmation as you breathe in, my body is strong. As you breathe out, my mind is calm. Now gazing forward, step your right foot forwards. Bring it wide enough to accommodate your bump. And be mindful of that movement as you step forwards, draw the hips back to feel the weight move into the back foot. As you draw the hips forwards, press into the right foot, lightly step the left foot forwards. Bring the forearms to the thighs, mini squat. Breathe in, circle the arms up, reach up. Breathe out, hands to heart center. So come all the way down again, you won't see your head for a moment. Breathe in, circle the arms up. As you breathe out, lowering the hands down. Step your right leg back and lower the back knee to the ground. So coming in towards a low lunge. The right knee back, left foot forwards, ground through the left foot. Now reaching the hands up into your low lunge. You might like to keep the back toes tucked or released if it feels better. As you breathe in, open out through the upper body like we did in standing. And that sense of expansion with the breath in. And drawing the hands back in towards the lungs as you breathe out. So I'll come back to that audible Ujjayi breath. Breathe in, opening the heart and the chest. And steady breath out to the count of 4. You close your eyes and stay with the thread of your breath. Next inhale, reach the arms up. Turn your gaze up towards the ceiling. As you exhale, lower your hands down to the inside of your left foot. And heel toe the left foot to the side, so you've got a little more space around that hip. And you might like to turn the toes out to the side, so it's turning to the left. And this can sometimes help with a little fluid movement around the hips. I'm going to bring the hands slightly to the right And then start to draw a circle with your hips. And gently, as you draw that circle, wrap the hips slightly forwards, feeling into the sensations in the lower body. And as you draw backwards to the circle, slightly draw the hips back so you can feel into that sensations around the glutes and around the IT band. And staying with the thread of your breath as you switch direction, can you stay with that audible sound? Now staying in your lunge, tip your right hand out to the side a little, so you've got a nice element of spaciousness across the front of the body. So glide that hand to the side, come into the fingertips, and now draw a line with your left hand across the shoulder, across the chest, opening up into a really nice open twist. There's no compression for the bump, nice and spacious. As you breathe in, feel that sense of expansion in the breath and the body. And then just move in with the breath once more. So as you breathe out, draw the left hand to meet the right. And then breathe in, tracing the hand across the body, opening up, expanding. Breathe out to close. Breathe in to expand. And guiding your hand back towards the front of the mat, ease your left leg back. I'm going to turn around a moment. So I'm going to keep that left leg back, but start to draw circles out through the left hip. And take 3 rotations in one direction and 3 in the other direction. And then outstretch through your foot. Start to draw circles out through the left ankle. 3 in one direction and 3 in the other. Now you're going to step that left foot down, spread out through the toes. You turn the right foot slightly to the side. So you've got a little more balance, and then lift up through that left arm, making sure that the hand and shoulder stacked. Really root down through the right hand so you feel a sense of stability at the shoulder, grounding down, reach up, and turn your gaze to that top hand. We're going to stay in this static position and find that element of movement within the breath. Stay with that fluidity of the breath, the ebb and flow. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Grounding your attention and awareness to the breath. Lowering that hand down and coming back to all fours. So walk your hands in towards your knees and then bring them in onto the toes again as you draw the knees wide back into that low squat, either keeping the hands here or maybe coming into your mudra. And stay with the Ujjayi breath, but notice it get a little softer as you come into a more static pose and calmer pose. And walking the hands forwards in towards downward facing dog. Stepping the hands wide, step the feet wide. And then come back to your Ujjayi breath and notice the change in the quality of your breath in this more dynamic, strong pose. Steady breath in through the nose. And steady breath out through the nose or the mouth. Breathing into the count of 4. My body is strong. And out to the count of 4. My mind is calm. Now step the left foot forwards. Drawing the hips back, feel that weight transferred to the back foot. As you bend it, as your hips come forwards, press into the left foot, lightly stepping that right foot forwards. Feet wide, forearms to thighs. Pressing through the feet, strong legs. Inhale, sweep the arms up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Breathe in, reach up. And exhale, lower. So we're going to step your right foot back this time, unless you did the other side. And then take the left foot out to the side. And the hands on the inside of that leg. And start to draw the circles out through your hip. As you draw the circle, the hips come slightly forwards. Maybe feeling that sensation on the hip flexors, the front of the thigh. And out into the IT band and the outer hip as you draw the back side of the circle. And you close your eyes and dive your awareness into the current sensations in your body. So you're with the sensation rather than resisting, you're running with the current experience, your current sensations. Whatever that feels like. And then switch direction. And then back to center, heel toe the left foot back in. So you're into a low lunge shape. Feel free to untuck the back toes. And coming up, draw the hands in towards facing the lungs. Breathe in, open, wide expansion. And breathe out, close, contraction. Stay with the sound of the breath, following your Ujjayi ocean sounding breath. In through the nose and out through the nose or mouth, whatever's comfortable and helps you maintain that state of calm. Going back to center, find a strong root in through the front foot. Inhale to lift up into your lunge. As you exhale, lower the hands down. And then draw the left leg back. Start to draw circles throughout your left hip. I've got a feeling I might have done the same side twice to make sure that was facing you, so hopefully you switched. And now stretching. Spread out through the toes, press down through the foot, and then turn the toes out to the side on the right side. And start to lift up through that left arm. And then the gaze up. All the way back down. Drawing the knee in. Bringing the knees a little wider. So you've got that space to the hips. And then start to draw circles again out through your hips. Closing your eyes to come back to the Ujjayi breath. That steady sound, steady rhythm to ground you. Going back to center. And tuck out through both sets of toes. You've got a nice bit of stability on the lower body. And now ground down through the left hand and the right foot. Start to lift up through your left leg and your right arm. And finding that space of stability and strength as you press into the left hand and press into the right foot. Staying here with the thread of your breath. My body is strong. My mind is calm. And easing your way back. Press down through the right hand. Press into the left foot as you land your foot wide enough to accommodate bump. Lift up through the left side and the right foot. Outstretch. And that hug in as you press into the foot and hand. Steady in your breath. Can you find that steady rhythm, breathing into 4 and out to 4. My body is strong. My mind is calm. And all the way back down. Tucking the toes under. Press down through the hands. Lift your hips, downward facing dog. Yes, slow breath in through the nose. Slow, long sigh through the mouth. Lowering the knees. Take your knees a little wider, bringing the toes into touch, and we'll come into a modified child's pose to accommodate your bump. So depending on how large your bump is, you might like to bring the forearms down to the mat, around the head to kind of lower and soften. Or if you've got space and your bump allows, you could stack 2 fists and then rest your forehead on your fists. Bringing the knees as wide as they need to be to accommodate your bump. Find that sense of spaciousness around baby. So whether your forehead's on your fists, or you might have the forearms down and hands together in Anjali Mudra. And take a moment to close your eyes. Feel the weight of the pelvis kind of settle and sink down. And as you close your eyes, can you consciously soften the muscles of the face? Recognize your ability to consciously relax the muscles of the face, inviting an element of calm into the body. And then staying present with your Ujjayi breath, but can you allow it to be subtle and soft? There's that same element of focus and presence with the breath, but it's much subtler. A subtle sound and a calm quality to the inhale and the exhale. And each time you follow the thread of the breath, can you invite the breath to relax the entire body and mind? If it was having a calming effect on your whole being, you and your baby. And each time you welcome the breath in and release the breath out. Now begin to consciously soften out through the jaw, noticing if there's any tension around the teeth and the back of the jaw. You allow the jaw and lips to soften and relax. And then slowly make your way onto your hands. And keep the arms reaching out forwards as you spread out through the hands. So you're in this kind of up, forwards and over position as we come into a little pelvic floor work. And then closing your eyes and find that same element of relaxation throughout the face and the belly. And now trickle all of your awareness deep down into the pelvic floor basin, visualizing your pelvic floor muscles, that sling of muscles, the front, middle and back. And now slowly begin to contract from the front, the middle and the back, lifting up the muscles as you breathe in. Hold in for 1 or 2 counts and slow down the release of the muscles as you breathe out. So as you do the pelvic floor exercise today, we'll stay with that 4 count inhale and exhale. So a 4 count for the contraction and a 4 count for the release. We can stay with that rhythm of the Ujjayi breath. So contracting front, middle and back to the count of 4 as you breathe in. Slowly release 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, contract 1, 2, 3, 4. And exhale, release. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, contract. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, release. 1, 2, 3, 4. And do 3 more rounds at your own rhythm. You might like to hold the contraction for a few counts before you slow down that release. And final one. And ease your way back up. And we're going to come into Z pose. You can bring the left foot to the right knee. And then make sure that, as we're going to take a little Z flow, make sure that the knees are going to have a nice bit of cushioning on your mat and not roll onto the floor as we come up. So you might like to sit back on the mat a little. Now set the left hand out to the side. And as we sweep the right arm forwards, you can allow the hips to follow as if you were pulling your hips forwards with a string. Spread out through the fingers on the left hand. And breathe in, sweep the arm forwards. Feel that opening of the front body. And then breathe out as you draw back. Coming back to that more audible, dynamic Ujjayi breath. Breathe in. And breathe out. And with the sound of the breath, the quality of the inhale, texture, temperature, if it's staggered or smooth, stay with whatever it is in the breath. And as you stay with the breath, see if you can soften it. So notice if there's a little too much force in the breath, can you kind of soften and find this relaxed effort with the breath. Imagining the breath entering into the body to encourage a state of relaxation to the entire body. Relaxation and presence with the breath. And that soothing quality. And then easing your way back around as you switch sides. Swivel on the hips, switch the legs around. And that right hand out to the side, finding that sense of grounding. And breathe in, sweep forwards, make sure the knees are cushioned. And breathe out, sweep back. Inhale. Exhale. Now this time as you stay with your breath, can you land your awareness in the left side rib cage and encourage a lateral breathing into the left side of the body. You feel into the spaciousness of the breath throughout the side body. And the element of smooth relaxation to the breath as you follow its thread. And after the final one, so both legs around and bring your legs into a straddle shape. Bringing the legs wide, keeping the legs either straight or a bend into the knee, so you can decide by having a little feel into where your body is positioned on the hips. If your legs are straight and you feel a little slumped back, then this can be a good cue to take a bend into the knees, so you've got this slightly forwards leaning position at the pelvis. And from here, interlace the fingers, a little shuffle into the sit bones. And start to draw a circle out through the whole upper body. Feeling that freedom of movement at your hips. And switch direction. After your final one, coming back to center, take a bend into the left knee and bring your foot on the inside of the right thigh. And then bring the forearm to the thigh. Maintain a lot of spaciousness for baby and bump. And just find a little resistance throughout the forearm as you open up through the left side. You might like to stay here or gently reach that hand up and over, creating a nice curve, a half moon shape curve down the left side of the body. And slowly gliding that hand down towards the mat. And maintaining that sense of space with the bump, start to tiptoe the fingertips forwards. So that might be staying onto the fingertips, kind of spider hands. Or depending on where you're at in your pregnancy, you might come a little lower until you feel a healthy amount of sensation down that inner thigh on the right leg. And then whatever degree of sensation you're experiencing in the pose, can you dive your awareness into that sensation? Running with it rather than against it. Letting go of the resistance and running with your sensation. And you calm your awareness with that thread of the breath. And easing your way back up. Switching sides, draw the right foot in, left leg out. Little resistance between the left forearm and the thigh. Inhale, reach up through the right side. And then arching over a nice kind of C shape, half moon shape on the right side. And again, can you direct the breath to the right side ribs? So there's this physical feeling of movement around the right side. Really grounding your awareness in that physical movement of the breath in the body. And slowly gliding that hand down. Sliding both hands forwards, maybe on the fingertips, or if bump allowed some of space, maybe down to the forearms. Again, closing your eyes and rooting your awareness in the current sensation in the body. Can you run with that sensation? Without any forcing and without any resistance. It's being with your experience. As you steady your attention to the ebb and flow of the breath, that steady breath in to 4 counts. And steady breath out to 4 counts. Easing your way back to center. So I'll bring the left leg in. And we're just going to do a little neck release, the whole upper body releasing out through the neck and having that knock-on effect down through the back, upper back and shoulders before we come down for our relaxation. So you can find any comfortable seat, maybe popping the hips on the cushion if that feels good. Allow your hands to rest heavily on the knees. And then very gently drop your chin down towards the chest. And roll your chin up and over to the left shoulder. Until you feel a kind of nice release and stretched on the right side of the neck. As you breathe out, slowly lower down the chin down towards the chest. Drawing a half moon shape and breathing in to lift up the chin over up to the right side. Breathing out to softly lower the chin back down. So can you follow the movement throughout the neck with the breath? Each time you find that lift up, breathing in. Each time you lower the chin down, breathing out. And back into that synchronicity of breath and movement. And in a smooth, relaxed quality to the breath, a sense of ease into synchronized breath and movement. If you haven't already, can you close your eyes and be really present with whatever current sensations you're experiencing. And making a final one, coming back to center. Staying in a centered seated position, close your eyes. And take a moment to land your left hand on your heart, your right hand on your baby, your bump. With the eyes closed and heavy, take a moment to observe how you feel after your yoga practice so far. Observe the effect of connecting with your breath and staying with your breath. Knowing that this tool is always with you, regardless of what is going on in the outside world. You have this tool to help maintain an element of calm on your inner world. Now gradually making your way down to a left side lying position. So feel free to grab your blankets, your socks and a cushion so you can place that cushion in between the thighs. And I like to rest a cushion underneath the head. And if you haven't got a cushion for the head, I like to outstretch the upper arm and use the upper arm as a little cushion. As you rest on that left side, you can allow the right arm to be heavy, the legs kind of surrender and be heavy. And allow your body to completely settle in a position where the bones feel heavy. And setting yourself up with a nice bit of cushioning. So as you come into the left side lying position, take a moment to close your eyes. Release with a big sigh. And then take a little yawn out through the mouth and the jaw and the throat. And give the face a little stretch. Now as you settle out through the mouth and the teeth, allow the teeth to slightly part, allowing a little gap between the bottom and the top lip. And now watch the natural, easeful flow of the breath. Now there's no need to control the breath. And see if you can follow the breath with a presence and awareness. So you watch its natural rhythm, however it's settled. Follow your gentle inhalation through the nose, feeling into its temperature and texture. And follow your gentle exhale through the mouth. Feel as if the breath is a fine breeze moving out of the mouth. And each time the breath moves out, allowing the face and cheeks and mouth to relax. Lips completely soft. Watch the easy, natural rhythm of the breath. So it gently enters the nose and releases through the mouth. Allow the breath to be so fine that it feels like a fine golden breath is spiraling out. A very thin golden thread spiraling out and out with each exhalation. Silky, soft, and smooth. With each inhalation, allow the breath to gently travel in through the nose. As you follow that visual of the golden thread spiraling out, allow the exhale to softly lengthen without pushing or forcing. Allow your mental attention to follow out with each breath. As if your mental focus was being traveled out and out of the body with each exhalation. Gently following your awareness in through the nose and out through the mouth. You tap into a state of complete relaxation. A quiet space of stillness and ease.